to do a week in less than 1 hour. So this is pretty exciting, pretty hard to imagine as well, I'm sure. We have 4 beautiful women here joining us who are going to be my witness as to the time. 2:25 girls. That's our starting time. And we will be done, cleaned up within 1 hour. So we have Judy, we want to thank for being here, who's hysterical, so we're hoping she'll bring a lot of humor to the table today. Christy, who's got a great sense of humor as well. Christy's been a friend of mine forever. And Cheryl, who is Judy's sister. They're all gorgeous. And then we've got Ruby over here, who's Christy's mom. So they have volunteered their time and their energy to be a witness and to participate in this cooking class. So join me now. We're going to start with vegetables. And we have here on the table peppers, and we have yellow zucchini, carrots, asparagus, we have organic broccoli, and we have what we call yellow pan squashes, and then we have okra. I start everything pretty much with onions and olive oil. Today we're going to do vegetables 3 different ways. We're going to start with vegetables on this big tray right here. So I'm going to lay these all out. The first thing we do is wash our paws and make sure that our hands are nice and clean. And so you guys, what do you want to do over here? What should we lay out? We're going to use olive oil, and we're going to use rice Parmesan cheese, and we're going to use garlic as a topping. Does everyone like garlic?
Oh, yeah. Do you do it all together? Like certain things take a little longer?
We're going to do vegetables 3 ways. So we're going to broil them on the broiler pan here, which is really easy. And you could do this like twice a week just with all your vegetables and get it done. So you have them done for 3 days or so.
Oh, that's great.
We do everyone's vegetables for the week, and we have 14 plates laid out here. So you'll see how this works actually for your own life. So maybe we'll do the zucchinis over here.
All those vegetables for 1 week?
Yeah.
That's a lot of vegetables.
This is actually...
That's a lot of vegetables.
That's a good point, Judy.
This is for 1 person, all these vegetables?
1 person for 14 meals. So half this plate should be vegetables. That's 2 cups of vegetables per meal. The kind of interesting, like, did you know, sidebar, the Department of Agriculture and the Cancer Society over 15 years ago did a study, and they said if Americans would actually consume 2 to 4 cups of vegetables a day and 2 to 3 pieces of fruit a day, small, the size of like a plum, you could offset the onset of cancer in 68% of the cases. And for people who did have cancer, they could beat it if they increased their fruits and vegetables to that amount in something like 84% of the cases. So what that tells you is basically Americans are really antioxidant and colored food, live food, fiber food, water foods deficient.
Yeah.
Horribly deficient. So we focus on fibers. You know, in the 70s when and everyone's like, oh, it's bad for you. It's not that bad for you. So people weren't eating enough fibers because fast foods were coming into the marketplace with a craziness. So everybody was moving to like McDonald's and French fries and trans fatty acids and hydrogenated fats. And these guys were getting kicked to the curb. So we lost the ability to keep a stable, live food, colorful, antioxidant-laden, vitamin-laden, portion of our food chain intact in the food chain. And it was surplus basically with, jumbo Cokes. And now it's with lattes and coffees and, frappuccinos. All those things that are really high in sugar and have no nutritional value and actually take all these precious vitamins and minerals right out of the body. So this is going to be our first tray that goes in, and we're going to use olive oil as a topper. And I basically buy organic Spanish olive oil. I like any kind of oil that comes from a foreign country. It tends to be a cleaner sourced oil. And we'll get into fats and oils in a little bit. Most of this oil is going to dribble through, but we want the vegetables to be really, really well moistened with oil. And then we're going to sprinkle it with rice Parmesan cheese. So this is not dairy based, and normally when I cook for people, as you know, we don't allow dairy, wheat, citrus, soy, allergens, top allergens, corn products. So there are many substitutes in our country at this point, which is great, that will surplus your food chain and give you alternatives to dairy. 10 years ago, we weren't that lucky. We had tons of allergy-laden people with no substitutes whatsoever.
You mean in those cooking classes you don't use the dairy?
Right, and for my clients, when people want to detox and clean their bodies up, we just take them off of the top allergens. So dairy's number 1, wheat is number 2, gluten is right behind it. 70% of all Americans are gluten intolerant and don't know it. So we'll be doing a gluten-free cooking class today.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's garlic.
So then where do we get our dairy? I thought you were supposed to have all this calcium.
See, those milk commercials are working. No.
Green leafy.
Green- oh,
Green
you get everything
leafy.
from
How'd you know that,
vegetables. Is that
Chris?
right?
It is.
Yeah.
You get more
Everything told me.
calcium in this broccoli right here, in 2 cups of broccoli, than you will in a glass of milk.
Oh.
Far more actually. Milk is just, it's a huge industry, and the way it works in this country is people who lobby hard and have a lot of political power, and they, grease the politicians' coffers, basically are the ones who are going to have great lobbying power and commercial power. So in the world of dairy, the milk industry is powerful. They pay a lot. They have a huge lobbying body, so they end up doing these milk commercials, which are erroneous. I mean, dairy is the #1 allergen in the world. #1, and it's also the #1 reason for adult onset diabetes. So, and that's been proven and tried and true and renowned for years.
That looks great.
So there it is.
You
We've
got a
got,
whole jar of garlic in there?
no, there's actually about 1/3 of the jar in there.
Wow.
So I used a
I
third
can
of
smell
it.
the garlic. I can smell it.
Yes, we're gonna smell like garlic, all of us. It'll be good. So this is only gonna take maybe 3 to 4 minutes. We've got it on a low rack and a high burn, okay?
What temperature do you have that set at?
It's on broil.
Broil.
So we're gonna watch it, because as soon as the Parmesan starts browning up a little bit, we'll have to yank it out. So sometimes I open the door, because I'll forget. If I start gabbing with you guys, I'll be like, wee! You know, I'll be like, what am I doing here? I'm having too much fun. So now what I'm gonna do is show you a couple other options for cooking. And we've got coconut oil, and we've got ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. And clarified butter is what they call the nectar of the gods. Basically, you've got this wonderful unsaturated, 2/3 less saturated fat to cook with. It's a very stable oil, so when you heat with ghee, or better yet, coconut oil, you have a molecular bond in that fat that doesn't shatter or break or become rancid easily. So my #1 favorite cooking oil at high temperatures, if you're going to saute on the stovetop, would be coconut, and then ghee, and then olive oil, and then sesame oil, in that order. So I tend to use olive oil the most, unless I want really good flavor. This makes everything taste really creamy and yummy. So we're going to use this for one of our vegetables, and we'll use the coconut oil for the other one. So I'm going to put like 2 tablespoons of fat in there, or ghee I should say, which is 2/3 less saturated fat than real butter. And we'll get those onions sauteing. Each pan is starting with onions and some kind of fat, either oil or ghee or coconut. So we'll do one kind of a Mediterranean dish with vegetables, and we'll do another one that's going to be more of a Indian dish. So I have mustard seed and turmeric and curcumin and coriander and things like that.
So I don't usually see that at the grocery store, the coconut oil or the ghee. Where would I find that?
You can find it at most stores that are a little more upscale, like Treasure Island would have it. I don't know if Dominick's has ghee. They may. You can go to Little India and get lots of coconut oil and ghee up there. Whole Foods definitely has it. Trader Joe's carries it. There are quite a few stores. But you can go up to Little Divine, What's that, Chris?
Never looked.
I bet you never shot for that.
Does
Who are you
that
kidding?
part like a coconut taste to it?
Slightly. It's
Okay.
mild. It's very
Is
creamy.
it sweeter? than-
No, the ghee is very sweet, actually.
Okay.
The ghee tastes twice as sweet as butter. So I'm just gonna, you could throw these in whole if you're like in a hurry or lazy. We'll just cut these into little pieces and saute them. I use the whole cap and whatnot.
I think I've had okra before. I don't think so. What does that
So
taste like? Is that like?
okra, it's like a squash, but I love the taste of it. It gets kind of a muesli-like or kind of slicker in your mouth, but it doesn't bother me, and normally slippery foods bother me a lot. I don't like mushrooms and things like that, but I really like okra. And you can make it taste good with flavors too. Now, just to give you an introduction. Okay. Let me make sure I got my right burner on here. So we can turn these down a little bit. They don't need to be really high. And you want that butter to come down, and then we'll get our vegetables in there shortly. These will melt down quickly, but they don't break down as fast. So we can start putting our okra in here. Are you guys dying for these vegetables?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know, it smells
So I think we'll do okra the Indian way. Yeah, anything with fat in it tastes great. It does. These are really good just sauteed. We'll just throw these in. Everything's already been washed. Yep. You can cut their little noses off if you'd like. I'm going to wait to do that. Then I think we'll do some carrots over here as well. So all these need to be cooked, so we're going to have to get everything into one of these dishes here.
Cooking
then
them
I-
all at the same time?
Yeah, we're cooking for the whole week.
No, but I mean, all the vegetables will soften all at the same time.
Well, you're going to have different degrees of hardness. I tend to undercook vegetables because you're going to heat them again either on top of the stove or in the microwave eventually. And again, if you use the microwave, leave the room or don't stand in front of it. I see people standing in front of the microwave. I'm like, why don't you just stick your head in there? It's like, get out of the way. Stop doing that. And these things are fast and easy to cook, so I'll just get these over here.
And it
Well-
doesn't matter which ones you add to which ones.
No, there's no right or wrong with cooking. I mean, it's whatever you wish to do for the most part.
But it really gets you thinking. I thought this was all for a few of us. Can you imagine buying that much?
In a
vegetables for
week.
yourself? I gotta rethink my
That's like
shopping.
a month.
That's what
I
I
would
thought.
never go out to eat again.
It's a lot of vegetables.
Right.
You know, and that's just it. It's like when you first do this cooking class, for most people, they're like, huh?
I
You're supposed to
know.
eat all that? And I'm like, well, if you eat out, of course, you're not going to get to it. But again, you know what? If you eat this many vegetables, even if you eat half this much,
Yeah.
you will be in a safe place.
And cooking in the way that you did, and adding the garlic and all that, you want to eat it. That's great.
So, I mean, just look at these colors. They're
Yeah,
so
it's
beautiful. So I've rinsed all these off. Everything right now, again, is organic because it's seasonal. We're in summertime, so the good news is, like, I go crazy for organic anything in the summer. I just live on fruits and vegetables. It's like my time to make up for, like, a long, drawn-out winter
Yeah.
where you can't get this stuff. So, I mean, you can get it if you order it in from California, but it's not easy to come by here.
So then your winter course is gonna be all different, your winter class.
We do more, well, there's 3 levels of classes that we offer. So the first one is basic, how to cook for 1 week in less than an hour. The second one is cooking for your dosha. So depending on the type of dosha that you have, would precipitate what type of food you would be eating. So we do tri-dosha cooking, which means it's good for all 3 energies. And that's a whole nother can of worms. But yeah. And the third one is soups and spices and garnishes, basically. And chutneys, which is great. Because then you can make things from scratch that give great flavor. Most people are really strapped for time, though. So it's like, what are you going to do? You know, you can't just, if you don't cook in, then you're not going to have the opportunity to get a lot of live foods. And I tell people, the more people handle your food, the less chance you have of contamination of some sort. You know, or the more chance you have of contamination. So if you cook for yourself even, 5 days out of 7, then you're going to be in a great place as far as your health goes.
Yeah.
Judy, do you cook?
No.
So what do you
I go out to
do?
eat all the time, that's what I'm saying.
Do ya?
If I start cooking, I can have a social life.
Invite us over.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Oh, there we go, I do like a miraculous cook.
Okay, this is cumin seed, so I'm going to throw some cumin seed in here with the Indian dish that we're going to do, and there's something called astufoda. Astufoda is something I call stinky toes, and I'm really generous with herbs because I like flavor. So there's cumin, there's a little bit of garlic, and normally I can use chopped garlic, but I use garlic powder. This is turmeric, which will make everything very golden and yellow. And did you know there are 13 different types of turmeric in India?
First time I've ever heard of turmeric.
Really? Good. And then there's cinnamon, which gives it a really nice kick. Cinnamon is also anti-parasitic. And then mustard or mustard seeds. Let me just take the top off this.
Is that a hot flavor?
No,
Or do you want-
no, it's not hot at all. But the astufoda, I'll let you smell it. We call it stinky toes. We put some ginger in too. And again, this is quick and easy cooking for people who don't have time to chop ginger from scratch and people who don't have time to, look at 13 different turmerics, and people who don't necessarily want to store mustard seeds in their house, you can use some of these fresh ground mustards. This is astufoda, and it really smells awful, I think. Pass it around.
Oh,
It
no.
smells so
It
bad.
smells like
Yeah,
stinky
you should try it.
toes.
Oh, no.
It totally smells like stinky toes.
Did you smell it? Ew.
Where does this come from?
That's Indian.
Oh, whoa.
But once it cooks down,
Let's say it's olives. I won't eat it.
once it cooks down, it tastes great. It tastes like Indian food. So now all we're going to do is kind of move this around a little bit, get those flavors in there. I could use a bigger pan here.
Oh, I can smell that.
Yeah.
Can you smell the astufoda? Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes up.
It doesn't taste, smell like everything.
Yeah, you need a bigger pan.
We need a bigger pan. Well, the good news is we've got a big pan going over there. So,
Take out the stuff in the broiler?
no, it's not done yet.
Really?
Nope, it's not quite brown. I'm watching it, but thanks for reminding me. So I'm going to add a little more coconut oil. And again, once you cook these oils, you guys, you're going to discard the fat. So you don't keep it. Once you heat an oil, you degrade it. Degrading means that you change the molecular bond. It's no longer bioavailable to the body. So what we do is we use these fats for flavor. And a lot of people have been told that coconut oil is so bad. So like when I was in India the first time, I saw all these amazingly gorgeous women. And they were old once I found out who they were and what they did. And I was like, how come they look so good? I mean, they had like those really bright eyes and full cheeks, like they were loaded with estrogen, and they were spry as could be. And I'm like, what are you guys eating over here? So I was like asking everybody to take me to their house for dinner. And they did. And I'll tell you what, they were cooking, their fish was waddling in this much oil.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was just like, what are you cooking in? And they were like, coconut oil. I was like, because we heard so many bad things
Right.
about coconut oil since the 70s again.
Right.
So you don't know what's going on here, but it's like a plot to make us old fast, because if you don't have fatty acids, you will age very quickly. And once you go into menopause, you especially need tons of fatty acids to keep those estrogens and progesterones cranking in the body. If you don't have fats, you will not make estrogen. Anything with fats and oils. Well, good question.
Okay.
So let me show you some great foods. Let me just get this going real quick first. There's something called Fine's Herbs, which is an herb base. It has basil and chervil, tarragon, marjoram, and chives. So whoops, we're going to add this to our butter-based product over here, and our vegetables there are cooking away. And we're going to actually open up some marinara sauce. And I love Muir Glen. It's an organic sauce. It's just tomato-based. And so, again, I'm cheating. I'm not making my marinara from scratch. And then I'm just going to add some tomato sauce, and we're going to cook it in tomato sauce,
That's looking good.
which is... Are you Italian? Are you Italian, girl? And this could probably come down and heat a little bit because it looks intense. So now what we're going to do is just like stir these things up a little bit, get them cooking, flip them around, and we're going to cover it. So if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of water on here, but the juice from the vegetables should be ample enough to keep this cooking in the oil that we have in there. You're going to have to flip this a little bit because these are going to cook too fast on the bottom. It's easy. It's so easy. It really is. It's like a cakewalk. And these vegetables are going to shrink down, so they will eventually not be escapees, and they will fit in here. Get back here! They're trying to jump out of that pot.
It's so colorful. It looks nice.
Beautiful. So now what I do is just rinse my spatula off because I don't like to do a lot of dishes. I'm not a big dish person. I grew up in a family of 7. And we're going to just toss these vegetables around in a little bit of the sauce, which gives them some moisture. So now you're making a marinara-based sauce. And these can probably cook up a little higher. Okay. Now we're going to look at these guys down here. They're ready to go. Do, 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 do. So these guys are done. So as soon as that Parmesan starts looking a little toasty,
Yeah.
you can yank it out of there. So I gave each of you an asparagus to try. Please dig in, and a zucchini. So I'd love you to taste all these and see how you like them. And then I'm going to start disseminating the proper amount of vegetables onto each plate. So these are a little undercooked, again, because you're going to be cooking them again when they hit the microwave. How do you like them?
Delicious.
Are they good?
Very good.
Cool. Yeah?
Can't have too much garlic.
That'll cure what ails you.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. All
No,
right.
we want to be around you either.
No, are we 4 single women? And we will all this garlic? 5. We know why.
Okay, I'm actually going to come over here with this. So sorry to turn my back on you real quick, but now what I'm going to do is use the same tray. You don't have to take the garlic off, and I'm going to put the fish and the meat
Wow.
on the tray. They should not be touching each other. So now you can get all your cooking done here for the week.
Oh, that's great. Just use that
Yep,
garlic.
yep,
Now that's easy. I can do that.
this is easy.
Good.
I think so. I don't know. They all cook at the same time?
Yep. So what we're going to do over here, no touching. No touching. Just like parochial school. No touching. Okay, so now what we're going to do is dress these guys up. So we have different marinades that I brought to the table. And again, these are things that make your life simple and easy and make your food taste like restaurant food. Not kidding. When you have nothing else to do but sit home and make marinades from scratch, God love you, you can bring them over to me. But I'm going to show you some things that we use from the grocery store that just give really good flavor to the food. So you have here, this is like a roasted red pepper dressing, or marinades as we call them. This is a red raspberry vinaigrette. This is a barbecue sauce. This is a lemon pepper marinade. This is a shiitake ginger. And then this one here is a chipotle hot sauce. Who likes hot stuff?
We do.
Okay. And then we've got a Korean sesame, which is a cooking and grilling sauce. So these are just different flavors and varieties of marinades that we use to make these fish and meats taste good. I'm generous. A lot of this is going to drop through. None of these have high fat. They're all high carbohydrate. What that means is you've got the flavor and the moisture from these marinades that will make the foods taste really delicious without the calories, because sugar's reduced down to nothing when they hit the broiler, which is 400 degrees. It's called reducing down to sugar. So I like to do colors on white things. So maybe we'll do raspberry on, we've got halibut here. So we'll do some raspberry on here.
Have you ever had raspberry sauce? Have you?
It's good. And then maybe we'll do the red pepper over here on our, this is cod. And then maybe we'll do a spicy one on our burger. How's that sound?
Yeah.
We'll do a hot holy chipotle. Woohoo!
That's red meat?
Yes, it is. It's actually turkey burger.
Oh, okay.
So we have turkey, we have beef, and we have lamb. 3 different kinds of meats. And maybe we will use, I'm thinking shiitake ginger on top of, what do we have here? Korean sesame. Shiitake ginger on top of our lamb chops. And these are already marinated, but I also dress them up further to make them taste good. And then we've got the Korean sesame here, which I think we'll just throw on top of our little beef on the little skewer. Okay, and then we've got barbecue. How about that on top of the salmon? Does that sound good?
It sounds like it takes longer to go grocery shopping than it does.
Well, it took me precisely 35 minutes to get everything today, and it was busy. So, you know, I was at peak time. If you go at the top or the end of your day, you're in good shape. You're in and out in 20 minutes if you know how to shop.
Yeah, plus you have all of your sauces. And
Right. And we've got, let's see here, astafoda. We need our fines herbs. Oh, here we go.
Mom,
So this
I don't
is
think
called,
you use sauces.
yeah, these make everything taste
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
This is called Fines Herbs, and again, this is a compilation of herbs. You can buy herbs in bulk as well and throw them in a big container from the Container Store. But now we herb everything.
Wow.
A lot of herbs.
And that's
I
just
use a lot
mixture
of herbs. Yeah, just for flavor because we don't salt and pepper it.
Fine herbs.
Yeah, that's it. And then we need to cap it with some caps. So we're going to take some leftover vegetables and just cover everything and make sure it doesn't get burned in the broiler. But you want it to be protected.
Well, that's good. I just love this. I don't know if they're having any fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself.
Good. I need another apple.
You're putting apples on top of that?
Yeah, whatever you have is great. I mean, so for instance, if you're cooking, you've got an old funky piece of broccoli that's starting to go yellow on you, you could cut that into strips and cover the food with it. So now I'm just cutting up a green apple.
There's a reason for covering the food besides the flavor.
It's expensive to get good wholesome food, especially if you're getting free range and organic. And it gives moisture to the food and protects it from burning.
Oh.
So, you know, there's nothing worse than cooking all day and then going to eat your food and you've trashed it by getting the fire
Yeah.
too hot or not checking on it because you got on the phone or... And so what we do when we're done is we just discard all of these caps. So what I'll do, since this is thicker back here and it's red meat, is I'll put the thickest foods towards the back. Now we can get our meats and get those going, and our meats will be done along with our vegetables. All right, in we go. Say goodbye. Everybody's dressed up for the party. So I think these are pretty good. We can probably turn these off and give you guys some samples on these. La la la.
So amazed at how many vegetables we have.
I know. They're good. You guys ready for some?
Now that looks like a professional cook that.
Hey,
professional.
hello.
No, but I mean, if I could do it, it'll
You
look like
can
I
do
actually
this.
went to cooking class.
I know. You just did, dude. You would be in cooking class, girl.
And this is easy. I can even chop with this one.
Let me give you one of these little squashy guys, too. So you have something exciting.
Wow.
Looks so nice.
It's so good. Ruby's my best eater, isn't
She
she?
cleaned her plate. And how much of the marinara? You put it like a half a jar in there?
Just about. Yeah, not quite.
Wow.
Like it?
Yeah, it looks so. I didn't try it.
Tell me if it
But
tastes
looks
good,
I hope
guys.
it tastes good 'cause I can do this one.
It is so easy.
So it's never trouble.
It's we use ghee as a starter or olive oil, chopped onions, you throw in your vegetables, and then you do your mixed herbs and your marinara sauce.
And you can really put any vegetables in there.
Yeah, anything's a
good.
go.
Oh, we're
Very
liking it.
good job.
Absolutely.
Yum.
Cool.
Flavor.
Can't go wrong with marinara sauce.
Wow.
Oh, that is good.
Mom, you gonna buy more vegetables? Isn't that good?
I could eat this as a, yeah, I could eat this as a meal.
Uh-huh.
Oh, now I'm liking my vegetables.
Good. We're supposed to get you to like your vegetables.
Yeah.
So we actually have a lot of vegetables here. And now I'm going to have you taste the Indian vegetables as well.
Why have I never thought of a little marinara sauce?
I
That's
know.
never
I
even
never did.
dawned on me.
Okay, so this made a really nice marinade and juice just using that coconut oil.
Wow.
These are cooked down a little bit more. Who likes Indian?
I love Indian.
Okay, let's see if you
I
like
make
these
it.
flavors.
Eat me.
Well, you just saw how. You just go get a bunch of Indian herbs. I'm putting some okra on your plate so you guys can taste okra this
Except that
time.
dirty feet. What was it?
Yeah, astufoda. Stinky feet.
Oh,
Stinky
right.
feet!
So I can have Italian one night, Indian another night.
Mhm.
Oh, here's that okra.
There's the okra. Do you like Indian, Ruby? Okay.
We're global cooking.
Thoroughly enjoying
We're
it.
global cooking. We are. It's global cooking at its finest.
That's a little excellent.
We're just missing the vino here. I don't
There we
know. What was I thinking? I don't
Wine
know.
and water, we're happy.
I know. All right. So what we're going to do here is we will put some of our veggies over here. You guys can dig it. Do you like those? Or
Yeah, that Indian one's really good too.
That's
I'll
yours,
take
babe.
it.
Okay, cheers, baby.
I'll take it.
So then you just go back, and of course, you know, if you've got a 5-burner stovetop, that's really nice, but I don't. So here we are, using what we have. So we're gonna put all our cooked products over here. You guys dig in if you'd like more. Actually, these have to be dispersed to the proper
Yeah.
plates. Aren't they pretty?
Really?
Color's amazing. Do you like the Indian flavor?
Really
Does it
good.
taste Indian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yay!
That's different.
Mm-hmm.
My stomach's gonna just be so amazed about these vegetables.
So will your
Body.
body.
Did you see the okra?
Do you like the okra?
Yeah, it's really good.
When people hear the word okra, they like get hives and break out and
Yeah.
just duck. You know?
I thought it was gonna be a little bit like a little cucumber.
We've got Mark back here chomping at the bit for a little bit of okra. I can see it in his face. He's like, bring on the okra.
Oh, it smells so good.
Okay, so we got our veggies done, and we've been at this precisely 25 minutes. Okay. So now I need to get my other pans free for the stovetop. So before you were talking to me about, Cheryl, you were asking me about fats. The world of fats are really limited. So it's a really good question, like where do fats come from? Fatty acids are really important, especially for women once they hit their perimenopause phase and postmenopause phase. So most of us here are in our 40s and 50s. And you look marvelous, I may add. You do, you guys don't look yours, and there's no plastic here. I'm telling you, it's 100% natural. Get a close-up, get a close-up. So anyway, the fats are the most important thing, and we've been non-fat or fat-phobic since the 60s. About 1964, I think, my stepdad was like, here, close your eyes. And he put margarine in my mouth, and he put butter in my mouth, and I spit out the margarine and never ate it again. I've never had margarine in my life. But because of the non-fat, push in this country, we're seeing an epidemic proportion of perimenopause and early menopause, infertility problems, low thyroid issues, depression, anxiety, hormonal imbalances, fatigued adrenals, and people, of course, going to carbohydrates thinking that they're free in lieu of the fats. So the healthy fatty acids are the building blocks for hormones and for healthy skin and connective tissue and beautiful shiny hair and glossy eyes and good vision and joint issues as well. So people who have connective tissue problems and skin problems and creaky joints are horribly fatty acid deficient. The world is limited. Avocados. Number one, my pick of the year. I love avocados. Raw, not roasted, nut butters, and raw nuts, like raw cashews. Hummuses, like here we have lemon. And then we have some cheeses as well, like goat cheese, which is this cheese here, and it's delicious. You should all taste it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's so good. This is, it's called Gouda Goat. Gouda Goat. So I'll let you guys pass this around. Okay, and take a snippet. So goat cheese is great as well. And you can also use the Parmesans. These are rice cheeses. This is a pepper jack, and this is a mozzarella rice cheese. So raw seeds, raw nuts, olives, which I don't have here, avocados, hummuses, that's pretty much it. Unless you're doing tamponades, like, roasted red pepper tamponade, which is made with olive oil, or an olive tamponade or something like that. And then the healthy oils that we're cooking with and the healthy oils that you have to eat every day. Isn't that good?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. It's delicious.
How much of this would you have to eat? Like every day you would have an avocado? Or
Every day you'd have an avocado, every day you'd have 1 container of hummus, and every day you'd have at least 2 to 3, depending on your size, 2 to 3 tablespoons of unprocessed raw oils. And those oils should be what we call omega-369 fatty acids. So there's something called Essential Balance that I love, that all my women go on, and this has an omega-369 in it. So this is my favorite oil on the planet. So take a peek at that. This oil here is a hormonal builder. It's antibacterial and antiviral. So it's just a terrific oil, and it's an organic base. So there's nothing more precious. I call this liquid gold. There's nothing more precious than these oils. And these oils, because they need a carrier, must always be eaten with a protein. Always. So you would eat it at breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a protein meal. So if you did that, those oils are your number one pick. So these are really important.
So
I do.
you mix this with something?
Yeah, you drizzle. You could mix it with the marinades that we just introduced you to. So you might put it with a raspberry vinaigrette. Most people who aren't accustomed to the flavor of oils don't like the taste or the feel of oil in their mouth. So you have to kind of get used to it and seduce your taste buds. And you do that basically by introducing it with other foods. So again, at a protein meal, you might make a marinade and put it on your salad or your vegetables or your rice or your potato or your sweet potato. Okay? So now we have all our veggies done on all our meals. And we're looking to do our stovetop items over here. And we've got all of our fish and our meats cooking in there. So we're more than halfway done with our process. Any questions so far?
I just think that's a lot of food to be eating in one day.
No, honey, in 1 week.
I know, but I'm saying I'm going to have 2 of these a day
Uh-huh,
and that.
uh-huh. So you mentioned something about gas before, right?
Yeah.
Judy, when the camera wasn't rolling, she said, if I eat all these vegetables, I'll have so much gas, right?
Right.
So that means that Judy needs enzymes. And truly, if you stop eating a certain food group in adequate quantities for any period of time, your body, especially if you're not eating enough calories to provide your body with what it needs, the minimum is what I'm referring to every day, then your body will stop making enzymes to break that food down or those food groups down because you're not feeding it enough of those food groups anyway. It's trying to conserve its fuel. So if you give your body 1,000 calories a day and you need 1,500, your body goes, oh, we're only getting 1,000 calories a day, so we need to trim 500 calories. Stop making enzymes, stop moving her bowels, take down her energy, slow down the heartbeat, slow down the brain function to accommodate the lack of fuel. So your body will prioritize where it's going to spend its energy.
Oh, so that's why they say if you eat more, you'll lose weight.
Yes, exactly. Well, and more is an ambiguous question.
Right.
It's not necessarily more food. It's more what foods, number one, and total calories have to be your bare bone minimum. So I do a calculation to show you that, which we're going to do tomorrow, I guess, right, or whenever you come back here. So, you know, your bare bone minimum is your minimum, and if you go below that for too long, you will shut down metabolism. But again, these are foods that kick up metabolism. They're live. They're green, they're colorful, they're orange, they're red, they're yellow. And these foods are just what we call, they bring life to the cells. And you need live foods in your body to like feed the body healthfully. You know,
How do
and
you
it's
make
going
the
back to
hummus
basics.
that you stated?
The
one of those?
hummus, we dunk that either with vegetable sticks or with tortilla, organic corn tortilla chips or rice crackers. And I'll show you some of those snacks later. This is great. You take this and put it in an apple or a pear. You scoop out, you know, core out the center of the apple or the pear, dunk the apple or pear in lemon juice so it doesn't brown up. And then where you've scooped out the seeds, you put this right in the middle, a tablespoon of this, wrap it in saran wrap. And you can do that for 5 or 6 days. You know, 5 or 6 different ones. And they're great on the go, and they keep really well, especially if you dunk them in lemon
So you
juice.
can do that while you're watching TV at 8 o'clock at night?
Exactly.
Or did they say anything about not eating late at night?
Well, you know, eating late at night, all my women have a snack before bed, but they do avocados. And avocados will tend to keep your blood sugar very consistent for a long period of time. So if you have an avocado, like a couple slices of avocado before you go to bed, it's not the same thing as having a Haagen-Dazs ice cream with, you know, fudge sauce on top. That's a saturated fat. This is an unsaturated fat. This burns fat, stores, and helps the body to actually mobilize fat out of storage into usage, whereas saturated fat creates more fat storage. Carbohydrates turn to sugar, or sugar turns to fat as well. So if you do, you know, a big, I don't know, potato chips before bed with a Coke, that's going to go straight to fat.
Yeah.
So something like this with a little bit of Paul Newman's balsamic vinaigrette on it is yummy.
Oh, I was just going to say, because I like that with salt.
Yeah, or
Avocado
mix it with some
salt.
salsa, which would be great.
But can I put salt on it? On
Yeah,
the avocado instead of salsa?
sure. As long as it's organic or kosher. Okay, so that would be great. Now, if you're making or using a salt that is a table salt, it's going to be really high in calcium silicate, which binds up the sodium or the salt from getting into the cells, and it has dextrose in it, which is sugar. So the salt they use at McDonald's is really high in sugar. It makes you crave more sugar.
Oh, brother.
So salt actually makes you crave more sugar. How
Because
bizarre.
of the sugar. Sodium and sugar work very much the same way in the body. They push fluid out of the cells into tissue. So when my women come in, they're like, I don't want to be weighed. I had too many margaritas last night. I'm like, well, good, because you're bloated. You're going to be bloated from the sugar. And if you did a margarita with salt, you're going to have double bloat. So lose the salt.
Cellulite too? Cellulite too? Is that what causes the cellulite?
Well, cellulite is a fluid imbalance, yeah, between different layers of the fat and the muscle. So again, most women who have a lot of cellulite either have collagen thinning along with dehydration problems. So they're not getting nourishment to the cells. the dermal layers.
Dehydration meaning water or
Oils.
food? Wow.
Well, dehydration, that's a good question. Dehydration comes in two forms, water dehydration or oil dehydration. Like I have women who come in here who are in menopause and they're so dry. I mean, their hair is dry. You can see their skin when they're 40-something looks like it's a 60-year-old skin. You know, it's just pulled and kind of parched. And they'll tell me that when they talk, you can hear like that clacking that old people get where it sounds like they're dry,
Like
you
their
know?
teeth are falling out.
Like they're on too many meds, like they're dry. And so I have them actually take organic sesame oil and rinse it in their mouth every night before they go to bed, like swish it for 3 to 5 minutes and then spit it out. And normally within 2 to 3 weeks, they start becoming more hydrated. So there's two types of dehydration. There's water and there's oil. And both are really important, especially for menopausal women. We really need oils for the rest of our lives. If you want to stay beautiful forever and you never want to have crazy hormonal wacky imbalances and you don't want to be on antidepressants because your brain is shrinking too fast from lack of estrogen, you know, and you don't want to take HRT replacement, then take fatty acids into your diet. I mean, I just got a call today on my way over here. Yeah. I mean, this
Stop
girl's
all
been
that.
trying to get pregnant for like 2 years and she has been on her fatty acids for 6 weeks, and she called me today. She goes, "Guess what? I'm pregnant." I'm like, and I'm not saying that just the fatty acids did it, but they certainly didn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Now the baby can develop. The fetal brain is almost 90% fatty acids, and the baby's brain will take 80% of the fats off of your brain during its gestation phases.
Wow.
So that's why they say moms will do it again, because they forgot. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, so what we're going to do over here is get these pans going. I have 3 stovetop items. We've got chicken sausage, and these are spicy chicken sausage. So I'm going to put these back here. You could cook these just as they are, or you could actually squeeze them out of their casing, which is what I'm going to do. And we used a significant amount of olive oil, you guys, to get this going. Okay, this is like a poor man's dish, and it's really delicious. So we'll squeeze these out. They're kind of gross, but they'll be okay. And then I actually chopped some apple up over here, and we're going to put some apple in with it, with the onion and the olive oil. It just gives it a nice little flavor. And if I didn't have apples, I might use something like applesauce, and then I'm going to herb it again as well. Lots of herbs. So I'm generous with herbs always. And we're going to get this cooking. So we'll chop that up in a moment. Then I have some Parmesan cutlets over here. And these cutlets have been dusted with regular Parmesan cheese. However, we're going to dust them again with rice Parmesan cheese. And these are usually people's second favorite dish. Whoops, we need oil in there.
Now, what is it? I've never seen that before, that you're about to put in the pan.
These are rice Parmesan cutlets that I dusted before, but what we're going to do is redust them because most of this comes off over the course of just sitting around. So we're going to cook them in lemon juice, and we're going to cook them in herbs, and just saute them. So I don't actually put the lemon juice in until they become a little more crispy or crunchy on the outside.
Looks like chicken breast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think we'll use this pan for this one because he's bigger.
And that's chicken, Deborah?
Yeah, this is chicken, and this is chicken as well. So, you know, Americans eat way too much chicken. And this is called Lake Victoria whitefish. And I've never made it before. I have no idea, but I was told it's really delicious and really light in flavor. So we're going to go ahead and cook this. And all we did was start with olive oil and onions, and we're going to put balsamic vinegar on it. That's it. So this is going to be lemon juice. This is basically herbs and apples, and this is going to be balsamic vinegar. Now the one thing to know about fish too is that this fish doesn't have any skin, so I would never cook a skinned fish on the stovetop. When we broil our fish, all the skin stays facing down on the bottom of the pan. You would never flip the skin over on top of the meat portion, because if there's toxins in that fish, it's next to the fat and the skin. So you want those toxins to drip through the pan. So we would never use the drippings. Okay? Okay. So you only cook a fish up here that doesn't have skin on, or has no skin whatsoever. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. So now all we have to do is wait. Basically, we've got our veggies done. We have to look at maybe doing some carbohydrates because we don't have carbs yet. Ooh, there's an escapee. Okra. Done. So what kind of carbs should we do today? about a garnet yam?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Wait, what?
A garnet yam.
Meet Mr. Garnet Yam.
All these, I never even heard of these kind of
This is a type of a yam or a sweet potato that has a very ruby color. So unlike a sweet potato, which is more orangey, this is more garnet colored or more ruby-esque. Basically, when you look at a plate of food, again, half of it's going to be vegetables. The size of your starch should be no bigger than a kiwi. So we're going to cut this into kiwi sizes. And although this is a different length and thickness across the base to the top, they're going to be different sizes. We're also going to use garbanzo beans as another one of our starches here. And then maybe on a couple plates we'll use some crackers and some corn chips, just for a variance. So when it comes to starch, you don't get a lot if you're trying to maintain and watch your weight, which most of us are when we again roll into our perimenopause and menopausal years. Of course, I know kids who are 16 who are trying to watch their weight. And a lot of women take this too far. They think no starch is better than anything, so they do no starch whatsoever. If you don't have some starch in your diet, then you're not going to be able to make really good, hearty stools. Let's talk about stools or vegetables. But you have to have starch to mix with water, water-soluble starches to mix with water to make the good probiotics that help create the healthy intestinal bacteria for the colon. So to have none is ridiculous. But your choices should be what we call low-sugar carbohydrates. So let me grab two things. So we've got these guacamole corn chips, and we've got these brown rice snaps. So we're going to open these up and let you guys taste them. We're going to chop up our garnet yam and get that into, yeah.
I recognize those kind of bags.
Margarita.
Now we're getting down to business.
Now we're
Okay.
getting to the stuff I like.
Margaritas.
Yeah, where are those margaritas when we need them? So for one starch unit, as I refer to, each plate gets no more than 5 or 6 yeah, it's true.
That's a tease.
It's a tease.
That's the amount of starch you would have for a day?
No, at that
For a
one
meal. For a meal, so I get to double those,
Right.
maybe 10 chips for the whole day.
If you're trying to lose weight. Now, on the other hand,
Oh.
Judy, you walk how many hours a day?
Oh, I can walk easily 2 hours.
She walks 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
She needs a lot of food. So pass these around. Do a taste test.
Can I have more than one?
Knock yourself out. You need them. We calculated Julie's
I took more than one.
her calories were calculated at dinner the other night, and she's not eating enough. So hopefully she will start eating more.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
And then 1 unit, which is 9 grams of carbohydrates, would be 5 of these crackers. Okay? They're great,
I'm a
aren't they?
person who likes carbohydrates, just based on what you just
I
brought out.
know. These are veggie crackers. They're made by Edward and Sons, and they're a really good snack cracker to eat with the hummus, for instance. So we'll pass these around as well. So you can taste those. And now we'll cut these little guys up.
I won't take a lot.
We'll take a lot.
So can I can't munch on these chips at night, like watching TV, right?
Yeah, you probably couldn't stop.
So I can only have 5 at night, if I don't have it with my meal.
Right. These are going to go in the microwave, you guys, and for about 6 minutes, okay? So I've cut them into the appropriate sizes. Again, every microwave is different, so you need to check your microwave and see where it's at the end of an hour when you're done cooking. Okay. All right, these guys are coming along nicely.
Now, these say brown rice snacks, vegetable.
Uh-huh.
Is it made with a vegetable product and rice?
It's a vegetable flavor. Some of them are tamari, some of them are cheese. Hey, Mark, could you hand me a black spatula over there? If there is one present hanging out. He's spitting all over the place. Now, I'm a very passionate cook, and I make a big mess. Thank you. So, I've always been a messy cook. But I'd rather do it. I'm a messy cook. I'm passionate.
Oh, that's what I'm going to
I
say.
can't mention it.
I'm passionate. That's what my kitchen's a mess.
That's why my kitchen's a mess. That's my
I am
excuse.
passionate.
I'm a passionate, messy cook. So we flip the fish over, and the Parmesan cutlets are going to go soon. This guy's ready for his balsamic vinegar. So the balsamic will cool the oil down as well. And balsamic, if you don't have a lot of oil in here, will actually caramelize on the fish. He needs a lid. So I usually use 2 spatulas. One for fish, one for meat, and then just keep rinsing them off. Okay, these guys look like they're cooked. I'm going to turn these off. I think I just singed my eyebrows. Be careful when you open the oven. So this is ready to be dusted with some lemon juice first. So I like to use the organic lemon juice and a lot of it. Do you guys like the flavor of lemon?
That's my problem.
Not enough flavor?
No, I don't use enough, no.
What I can't believe how much stuff you put on everything. Look at that. I put a pinch. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? A pinch here, a pinch
Right.
that?
You can do pinches. I mean, some people don't like a lot of lemon juice.
No,
so they
just
do
even
better.
everything you did, even your herbs, everything is like a whole lot.
Well, that's why you're better off buying your herbs in bulk, because you're going to go through a lot of herbs for cooking. If you want great flavor, then you're going to herb it.
Yeah.
You know?
Get olive oil.
I was just gonna say, how much olive oil you go through in a week though?
If you were to buy a 16-ounce bottle, you'd use about a half of it in cooking. It depends like how many calories you're eating, but that would be for between 1,200 and 1,500 calories a day. So that's not a lot. Just a lot more than most people would consider using, because we've been told, again, fats are so bad. Well, that's why no one's eating at home, because everything tastes flavorless. You know, if you
Yeah.
don't cook with oils, you're not going to have flavor, which is ridiculous.
I
Everything
never
that-
even put sauce on fish.
yeah, everything
That's
you
my
cook at home
problem.
should taste great. All right, so here we're gonna pull out the meats and the fish.
Whoa.
Okay. So that's done.
How long would you say that was in there? Just guesstimate.
Probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Wow, look at
think
those,
it-
the little hats on there.
The little hats are toasted.
That's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it saves the product. And especially, again, if you're buying free range, organic, you know, you really don't want to waste your money.
So better than foil.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
I think foil on the bottom is enough foil.
That's onions?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of doing that. And she puts in those apple slices too.
Well, it's for the girl who's too busy to like, focus. Can't focus. We have ADD.
You like to burn your hands, Deborah? Look at that.
No, I don't burn my hands. I've never burnt myself. All right, this would be the haddock. So I'd like you all to taste the haddock. Okay. That's all you get. Well, you get to eat all these after we're done. I'd let you eat them all, except we gotta prove that we'll have enough food.
Oh, we will.
There's enough out there for, like I said, a month for me.
Slippery guy. So see, the haddock is still really moist and kind of
Yeah.
juicy looking. He's not dried out. So you don't want to cook these to the point of extinction where they're so dry they're horrible.
Yeah.
Because then, of course, you won't eat your own cooking. You'll be like, oh, I can't cook. I can't do fish.
Oh, it's really good.
You like it?
Yeah,
Great.
Really good.
Okay, and this is the salmon with the barbecue sauce.
Oh. So it's a good variety during the 14 days, or 14
Yep.
meals here. You have really a good variety.
I try to
Yeah.
do half fish, half meat as much as you can. So let's put that one there.
Supposed to be different flavors.
Can you taste the barbecue? Or not
Yes.
really?
That's very good.
It's good? Okay. And then this is our cod, which we made with, what kind of sauce did we put on the cod? I don't remember.
Was it the raspberry to make it, or one of those?
Yeah, it was
to
the
make it
raspberry, you're right.
colorful?
You guys have a favorite thus far?
Salmon so far.
Okay.
You have a favorite so far? Oh. Mmm. So good. And when you eat them all together, like, because you really see what a difference, what a difference in flavors.
I look forward to more home meals.
Yeah.
I know it. If you have this food in the fridge, you'll eat it. If you don't, you
Right.
won't. It's that simple.
Right.
Okay, this is a Mediterranean turkey burger. So we're going to divide this into quarters. So we cook that so it's still pink. Because again, you're going to heat it again and you want it not to be too dried out. So again, if you cover it and you walk away from it and you forget about it,
Yeah.
it's okay because it's covered and it'll save the food. There you go.
So when you heat it again, you're always heating it in the microwave, or could you put it back in the?
You can do it in the
stove?
oven as well. And these are loin lamb chops.
That's hot.
Which one? It's very spicy, the
Oh yeah.
turkey burger.
Oh, I
Very
like that a lot.
Oh, I put the kick butt hot chipotle on there.
Isn't that good?
Oops. Okay, and this is our beef loin. So we're going to pull this off of here.
We're having fun now.
Woohoo!
Ooh, that was a vegetable.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do we call it? The kid blood.
Kick butt chipotle
That was
sauce.
sauce.
Yeah.
Works for me.
And this is a beef skewer. Now he looks like he could have been cooked a little bit less, but I like my meat personally bloody. So again, if you overcook your beef, you're going to have a piece of meat that has less nutrients in it because you cook the nutrients out. So if something has at least a tinge of pink to it, you will then have something with more iron containing, and we need iron. Now, we don't need as much once we stop menstruating, but we still need a lot of iron, or more so than men. We just have more complicated blood. So it's really important to get some iron somewhere. And I personally, I don't eat a lot of red meat, so I take blackstrap molasses every day.
Really?
I do. I put it in my chai. I make a chai tea with goat milk, and it tastes like hot chocolate. It's so delicious. Oh my God, so good.
That takes the place of the red.
Blackstrap molasses is high in iron and all the B vitamins.
Really?
So for women who don't have stress, they don't need to take Bs. Personally, personally, I've got a bit here and there.
What's the rule about red meat? Because I don't really like to eat red meat. Do
Well,
you have to?
you know, Whole Foods is finally carrying organic, and so is Costco.
Really?
Yep. Yep. So I would go to Costco and get it. It's the same purveyor. Absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta go get it.
Yeah, Costco has got some great buys. They really do. And they, you know what? They're the coolest store. Do you want to know what their mission is? Their mission is never to make more than 14% on a sale. If they can, if someone comes, like a vendor comes to them and wants to bring a savings to them, they pass it on to the consumer. They totally live by that and will not
Wow.
change it, and they contribute their success to that, which is very cool. I mean, what store doesn't want to make 60%, you know? So we just threw all that oil out and we're
You have to
done.
get a card for that, don't you, or something? Yeah.
What, honey?
You just get a card for it.
You have to be a member.
Wow. You remember.
You do have to be a member.
And you get two.
So you guys, these are garbanzo beans. We're going to rinse these really well because it's the water that the beans sit in, whether you're cooking them from scratch or they're pre-cooked like these are, that's going to give you gas.
Oh.
So the more you rinse them, the better you rinse them, the less gas you'll have. Then you need the Beano and the enzymes, yeah.
Yeah, that's like when you use pinto beans or something to make chili from home. You have to boil it and sit in water. And then, because people worry about chili too. We should make chili for winter time.
Chili, good.
You know, that's
Okay.
a winter thing.
So now, garbanzo beans are kind of boring, I think. Oh, we need more lemon juice over here.
Where's lemon juice? There?
Yeah.
Kind of like a lemon juice.
Well, it'll reduce down, so you end up with,
I really extremely amazed with that.
I too.
all right, our fish is ready to be sampled.
I might actually start less cooked.
This is our tilapia, and it's made with olive oil, onions, and balsamic vinegar. That's it. See how you like
It's
that,
all
ladies?
caramelized, like.
Yeah, it caramelizes. Here's some
This is
onions
like
to go with that.
The newest hot fish.
Tilapia? I love it.
Love
Mhm.
it, yeah. Everyone's getting
I see it more on restaurant menus.
it now. Yeah, me too.
Okay, try that. Tell me how you like
Look
it.
at this. I know.
Go, Rube.
It's feel like
Great.
I feel like I'm in a restaurant.
Hey, you are. Where's the line? Dang it.
Very good.
What was the
Onions
sauce
are
on
great.
this? This is excellent.
This is just balsamic vinegar. That's it.
And the onions.
The onions are great.
Mm-hmm. What's more?
Do you usually use red onions?
I love red onions. You know what? They've got such good flavor and they've got such kick and they're pretty. I just like color.
Really good.
Okay, we're making a nice mess back here.
Really good.
You like them?
Yes.
Good. All right, I think our lemon's almost done too. Now this is our, it's a spicy chicken that we made with apples and onions, so I'm gonna let you taste that. And what I would do with this normally, I think I will do it anyway, is I would add either frozen peas or I would add frozen corn to it. Well, let's see what we got in here. I think we've got some peas.
Now why frozen and frozen fresh?
You could do fresh, but again, we're cooking for 1 week in less than an hour, so we're doing things that are convenient, fast, and easy. And again, I wouldn't heat these because they're going to, these are really frozen. Okay, never mind, we're gonna heat those up a little bit. Our sweet potatoes are done.
I didn't hear that thing go off.
It did. Okay, try
Yeah.
this, see if you like these garnet yams.
How fun. How are you having fun? Hope Deborah's having as much fun as
I'm having a blast.
Mom, are you having fun?
I love cooking.
Is it good,
They're
Mom?
so sweet.
It's good.
And you said yams are good for what?
Oh, they're really high in vitamin A. Yeah, these are an alternative. Here's another one, Ruby, that's kind of small. Okay.
This is like candy.
So again,
Those are
as I was
really
saying, you
good.
don't get much. Get like a 1/4 cup of beans. And if you wanted to make these taste good, you could throw some of those marinades or dressings on them. There's another flavorful product that I like. It's called Bragg's Liquid Aminos. It's in place of teriyaki or tamari. There's no wheat in here, so you won't get that stuffy nose feeling you get when you do Chinese. Let's see who needs starch. He needs starch. And he needs starch. Okay, so basically, as you can see, half the plate again is vegetables, the size of no more than a kiwi would be your starch, and then your meat is whatever it is, the 3 to 4 ounces, depending on what your calorie count is. And wait till you taste the lemon chicken. It's really good.
Don't they?
It's a beautiful thing.
Now
We're
you just
done.
stick this in a baggie and put it in the refrigerator, and then the next day you
Yeah.
pop it in. And
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah. And you could say you made that.
Can I just
You
come
could
over
say
here
you
and
made
rub it
that.
in an hour and next day you don't.
Yeah, just, you know.
Here's the
Put
lemon
that in your
chicken.
fine china.
Wow, this is amazing.
And you know, if you know this is at home waiting, you're going to be less inclined to say, well, I'll stop at Burger King or
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Well, I never
because
Right.
it's
I never did. I never remember.
Here, Ruby, I know you like my cooking, so we'll give you the big piece. I think I'm joining you.
Good.
How is it?
Are you making them hungry?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Is this the chicken with all the lemon juice in it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yum.
Mm.
Oh, it's great.
Isn't that yummy? So now what we're going to do, we had 2 of these sausages. They're 4 ounces each. So I'm going to put about a cup of peas in here and just toss it around. I don't like cooking them because then they get too dark and too overcooked and they'll start looking brown. And I don't really like overcooked vegetables myself or starch.
No.
So if you just mix them in with the hot food, they'll start melting down a little bit. And then one of the things that you can do, again, is put the Bragg's on here, which makes it kind of taste Szechuan-y. Yum. All right. So the peas might still be a little bit cold because they should sit for a few minutes. I'll let you taste this.
turkey sausage.
Turkey sausage.
Yeah.
I really just took it right out of the casing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it tastes great in the casing too.
But it's just easier, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Cook it evenly. Done.
So then I'd like a vote. You guys can tell me what your favorite dish is thus
Oh
far.
my God, I don't know.
Oh, good. Rube, do you have a favorite though so far?
Yes, very good.
You do?
Yes, everything's okay.
Everything's very good.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
Okay, and we've been at this 1 hour and we're
Really
done.
good.
So that concludes our
Delicious.
walkabout, our cooking class, I should say. Walkabout's next. Yeah.
Wow, this is great.
So do you have a favorite, Judy?
What I just had.
Yeah, I like what we just
Do
had.
you like that one?
Excellent.
How about you?
I like the
Cheryl?
Chipotle
Burger?
burger.
Cool,
It's very good,
Yeah,
very
really.
spicy.
cool.
But everything has such taste to it.
So if you put that, like you
That's
could
what
use
you're
some
looking
hot
for.
chipotle sauces on any of this stuff and you've got a meal, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, it can go on your vegetables for that matter, if that's what you
Love
like.
Chicken.
Yeah.
You like the
Very
chicken?
good.
Great.
Really good. Lemon is very good.
Okay then. All right, do you have a favorite, Christy?
Well, I love each one as we're going along. I love the last one. And what I like about all these different things is sometimes you're not in the mood for, fish, or sometimes you're in the mood for it. You never know.
Right.
So that's so great to have all this.
Well, even
love
if
it.
you did this for like 4 days, if you cooked 8 meals, it's going to take you as long to cook your 1 meal or your 8 meals or your 14 meals. Literally,
Yeah.
it's going to take you an hour to cook it. It takes time to steam the vegetables.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll slice 10 minutes off it if you do 1 meal. If you're fast in the kitchen. But this way it makes life really easy. We've shown you how to make vegetables 3 different ways. The starches are a cakewalk. You can just forgo the starch and not do the garnet yam and not do the beans and just do 5 tortilla chips or 5 rice snap crackers or something. Or 5 organic potato chips. You know what I'm saying? If you want something crunchy and chewy, then you're set to go. Any questions?
I need a big refrigerator. Are you gonna freeze all of these?
Well, you ladies are taking most of these home, so you'll get some meals to go
Really?
here today.
So
Yeah.
you put these in the refrigerator, like in
Mhm.
a Ziploc that we
Right.
talked about, and those be okay for like the week?
Yeah. So yeah, these are all going to go in Ziploc bags, and no, not for a full week. If you were to take all these meals home, Cheryl, you could keep out 4 days worth, so 8
Oh,
meals.
and the rest freeze.
The rest go in the freezer. Yep. Okay.
Great.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Deborah Arneson, and I hope you enjoyed our cooking class, Cooking for 1 Week in Less Than an Hour. If you have any questions or comments, give us a jingle or email us. Until we see you again, take good care of your health.